Welcome to the deep dive. So our mission today is to basically rescue you from the sheer unending exhaustion of the modern content hamster wheel.
Yeah, it's a real problem for so many people right now.
It totally is. And we're stepping away from that daily grind today to provide you with a real shortcut to building a compounding, automated digital business.
And to do that, we are pulling from a really robust stack of sources. We've got the strategic framework from the Systemic Content Monetization Blueprint, for starters.
Right.
And then we have these highly practical operational guides from platforms like Teachable, Automated, and Influence AI.
Which are super helpful.
Yeah, and we are grounding all of this with real-world case studies from successful digital business architects, people like Justin Welsh, Dan Koh, and Jay Klaus.
So whether you are an aspiring creator, maybe a busy professional trying to leverage your industry expertise, or honestly just insanely curious about the mechanics of the digital economy, this discussion is going to fundamentally change how you view the value of your own knowledge.
I really think it will.
And we really need to change that view, because I was looking at a statistic in our research that just made my jaw drop.
Oh, the posting frequency one?
Yes. According to industry benchmarks, brands are currently publishing an average of 9.5 social posts a day across networks.
Wow.
9.5 every single day. I mean, just visualizing the sheer human effort required to sustain that level of output, it makes me feel exhausted.
Yeah, it's absolute content overload.
Oh, baby.
But actually, it's worse than overload. It's a structural trap.
Also,
Well, that metric represents a linear creation model. It operates on this really rigid one-to-one ratio.
right, so you invest the time and cognitive load to conceptualize, draft, and publish a piece of content.
Exactly. And the moment it goes live, the algorithm basically demands the next one.
It's like a beast that's always hungry.
It is. And if you stop feeding the machines, say, to take a weekend off, your reach is artificially suppressed. The architecture of these platforms practically guarantees burnout for anyone trying to build an audience through just sheer volume.
Creating content right now feels like cooking a massive, elaborate Thanksgiving dinner from scratch every single day.
That is such a good way to put it.
Right. Like you spend hours prepping, chopping, monitoring the oven, and then the entire feast is consumed in 20 minutes by people mindlessly scrolling on their phones.
And then you wake up and have to do it all over again.
Exactly. We can't survive doing that. Shouldn't we just be cooking one massive turkey on Sunday and strategically making amazing leftovers for the rest of the week?
Yes. That is the core philosophy behind escaping the hamster wheel. In content strategy, this is referred to as the COPE method.
Which stands for create once, publish everywhere.
Right. But it requires shifting your effort toward a pillar and spoke model. Instead of spreading your energy across 10 mediocre social posts, you concentrate all your resources into creating one high-density, long-form pillar asset.
So that would be something like a deeply researched weekly newsletter.
Exactly. Or a comprehensive webinar, or maybe a structured long-form video. Then, you systematically extract value from it through what's called content atomization.
Okay.
A strong pillar should yield anywhere from 25 to 60 distinct informational atoms.
Wait, 60 from one piece?
Yeah. We are talking about isolated statistics, compelling hooks, specific mistakes to avoid, or a mini framework pulled directly from the main body of that pillar.
Okay, let's unpack this, because the immediate risk here is that taking one idea and posting it 60 times sounds like a fantastic way to annoy everyone who follows you.
Yeah, if you do it wrong, it definitely will.
Right, but the Post-Quick AI Guide addresses this brilliantly with their concept of the minimum viable adaptation. We aren't just copy-pasting the exact same paragraph across 5 different apps like some spam bot.
No, definitely not. Every platform has its own native psychology.
Exactly. So you take your informational atom and you adapt the hook, the formatting structure, and the call to action for the specific environment.
Right. So on LinkedIn, that atom needs to be structured as a mini essay with a professional, networking-focused CTA.
And on X, it's a punchy, high-paced thread.
And on TikTok, it's a visual hook with text overlay. The core insight remains identical, but the delivery mechanism feels totally native to the user scrolling that specific feed.
And that adaptation process is what allows you to manipulate the different algorithms to serve specific functions, right?
Yes. Dan Koh lays out a really fascinating hierarchy for how these adapted forms operate. Short-form video, so your Reels and TikToks, sits at the very top of the funnel.
To cast a wide net.
Right. It is designed to capture a broad, highly fragmented audience. Then medium-form content, like those detailed LinkedIn carousels or long text threads, serves as a filtering mechanism.
So that's where you prove you actually know what you're talking about.
Exactly. It builds competence and authority, proving you actually possess deep knowledge. But the long-form pillar, particularly the email newsletter, is the only environment that creates actual trust and true fans.
Which completely flips how most people value their audience metrics.
Yeah.
I mean, we obsess over our follower counts on these short-form platforms, treating them like a scoreboard of our business health.
Yeah, we do. But what's fascinating here is that, according to Coe's analysis, social media follower counts have lost their predictive value.
Really? Completely.
Pretty much. The platform algorithms have fundamentally shifted away from social graphs, where people see what their friends like, to interest graphs.
Where the algorithm just serves you whatever keeps you on the app.
Exactly, regardless of who posted it. The For You page democratized virality, but it severely penalized audience retention. Your followers might never actually be served your posts.
Oh, wow. So you are perpetually renting access to an audience from the algorithm.
Right. An email list, however, is a direct, unfiltered line of communication. It is an owned asset.
Okay, so the Thanksgiving leftovers, the atomized short-form posts, aren't just about saving your own time. They are strategically designed bait to funnel people off the rented platforms and into your own dining room.
Beautifully said, yes.
But here is the major limitation we hit next. Once we have reclaimed our time and built this email list, those little content atoms still vanish. They just die in a 48-hour social media feed.
They do.
So if we want to capture the actual financial value of our knowledge, it seems like we have to package it into something permanent.
Absolutely. The transition from fleeting social engagement to evergreen digital assets is the defining line between a creator and a business. You have to capture the knowledge before it depreciates.
But building a product feels like a massive, months-long endeavor. When the sources talk about digital products, the immediate assumption is that you need to write a 200-page book.
Or rent a studio to film an 8-module masterclass.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And most busy professionals simply don't have the bandwidth for that kind of product development cycle.
Well, the framework from Mark Wills completely removes that barrier. He advocates for the micro digital product.
Okay. What is that exactly?
This isn't about encyclopedic volume. It is about extreme specificity. A micro product is designed to solve one very narrow problem completely.
So it's very targeted.
Extremely. The operational benchmark is that a motivated creator should be able to build it over a single weekend, and a buyer should be able to consume it and implement the solution in an hour or two.
Here's where it gets really interesting. The case study on Justin Welsh illustrates this perfectly.
Oh, I love this case study.
Right. He didn't lock himself in a cabin to invent some grand new theory of marketing. He just realized he was wasting time every week hunting for high-performing social media formats.
Yeah.
So he built a personal system of fill-in-the-blank templates to speed up his own workflow. When he realized other creators suffered from that exact same formatting fatigue, he simply productized the internal workflow he had already built.
And the mechanics of his offer are brilliant. He implemented a rigid, predictable cadence. Every month on the 13th, he compiles his latest templates into a straightforward email with a brief commentary on why they work.
And he priced this recurring subscription at just $9 a month.
$9.
I mean, that price point bypasses almost all buyer hesitation. It's an impulse buy for extreme convenience.
Yeah, and the math on that impulse buy is staggering. By maintaining that rigid cadence and solving one persistent micro problem, that simple $9 product scaled to generate $23,000 in monthly recurring revenue.
Wait, $23,000 a month?
Yes, he is generating over $250,000 a year by sending one highly valuable email a month.
An email he was practically drafting for his own operational use anyway.
Exactly.
And the barrier to actually formatting these products is practically zero now. The sources highlight AI tools like Influence AI that eliminate the design bottleneck entirely.
It's amazing what the tech can do now.
It really is. You could literally take the raw transcript of an old YouTube video you filmed a year ago, or the disorganized outline from a podcast you recorded, feed it into the software, and it automatically structures it into a professional PDF or EPB.
And it does all the formatting for you.
Yeah. It segments the chapters, applies your brand styling, and integrates your call to action buttons in a matter of minutes. The sources point to projects like the Tiny Launch Kit, which was a highly specific business guide shipped in just 2 weeks.
Or that niche cookbook built purely from aggregated family recipes. You are just packaging the digital exhaust you already produce. Because the production friction is gone, the focus shifts entirely to the perceived value of the solution. The pricing data across the sources indicates a sweet spot for these one-off micro products between $15 and $47.
Okay, so keep it affordable.
Right. If your guide genuinely eliminates a headache or saves a professional 2 hours of work, they will eagerly pay $47. Ironically, pricing a highly effective solution below that threshold can artificially degrade its perceived value.
So let's look at where we are. We've got our own audience on a free newsletter, and we spent a weekend building a highly specific $47 micro product.
Which is a fantastic side hustle.
It is. But a one-off $47 PDF has a mathematical ceiling. If you want to build a full-time sustainable income, selling random disconnected micro products means you have to constantly hunt for thousands of new customers every single month.
Which puts us right back on a different kind of hamster wheel.
Exactly.
The architecture fails if the products exist in isolation. You have to design a progression. Buying the first product must naturally illuminate the need for the second product.
It's exactly like the psychology of a local craft coffee shop. You don't walk in off the street for the first time and immediately drop $40 on a bulk bag of imported whole bean coffee.
No, the friction is way too high.
Right. You buy the $4 espresso first. That low-risk transaction allows you to evaluate their quality.
And if the espresso is incredible, the perceived risk drops.
Exactly. So maybe you buy a $12 bag of ground coffee next week. Eventually, the trust is so deep that you confidently buy their premium subscription for your home.
The automated and Matt Downey sources formalize this progression as the creator value ladder. It is a structured sequence of offers at escalating price points. As the listener, you probably already understand the basic funnel structure. You start with a free lead magnet, move to a low-ticket item between $20 and $100.
Then step up to a mid-ticket course around $500.
Yeah, and finally, cap it with high-ticket consulting at $1,000 or more. But the real insight in these sources is how to engineer the friction points between those tiers.
Exactly. The case study of Mia the product designer demonstrates how you bridge those gaps perfectly. She didn't just launch a website saying, "Hire me for $6,000 a month."
Nobody would buy that from a stranger.
No. She systematically removed the friction of trust. She started at the bottom with a free newsletter sharing highly opinionated takes on design systems. That attracted the eyeballs.
Then she introduced a $79 Framer template library.
And that $79 tier is critical. It was an impulse buy for her readers that required zero direct time from Mia, but it delivered a massive, immediate quick win for the buyer.
Because the template saved them hours of coding, their trust in her expertise skyrocketed.
Which completely neutralized the friction for her next rung. That was a $349 self-paced course on building comprehensive design systems. The template buyers were already pre-sold on her methodology.
And it naturally cascades upward. The companies who bought the $349 course realized they understood the theory, but they didn't have the time to execute it.
So the course itself functioned as a lead generator for her $2,500 two-day design sprints.
Which in turn proved her value to the point where select clients retained her for $6,000 a month fractional head of design work.
It's brilliant. Every tier generates revenue, but its primary function is to eliminate the psychological friction of the tier above it.
But inevitably, creators experience leaks in this ladder. People download the free newsletter and never convert to the $79 template.
Right, so what do you do then?
Well, the data sources emphasize that you don't blindly tweak the product. You diagnose the specific step that's broken. If your free-to-paid conversion rate is sitting below 2%, the product is rarely the issue.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the friction lies in your onboarding sequence, specifically email number 2, where you fail to articulate the immediate why buy now value proposition.
The sources map this directly back to Alex Hormozy's value equation, right?
Mm-hmm.
The idea that value is dictated by the dream outcome, multiplied by the perceived likelihood of achievement, divided by time delay and effort.
Yes. If we connect this to the bigger picture, the Hormozy equation is the operational code for your low-ticket tier.
Okay, walk me through that.
At the bottom of the ladder, your buyer's trust is lowest. Therefore, the denominator of that equation, time delay and effort, must be near zero. Your micro product has to provide a high likelihood of achievement almost instantly. If a customer buys a $20 template and it takes them a full weekend of frustrating effort to see any value, they will never, ever ascend your ladder to buy a $500 course. The quick win is mandatory.
So what does this all mean for the listeners day to day? We have a perfectly constructed value ladder. We have low friction, high value progression. But a ladder is still a static structure. It just sits there.
Yeah, it does.
If we have to manually convince every single subscriber to buy the template and then manually pitch them the course, we are still trading our time for sales. So how do we remove ourselves from the operational execution? How do we make this thing spin on its own while we sleep?
To remove yourself from the execution, you have to architect a dynamic system. You transition from a static ladder to a flywheel.
A mechanism that actually gathers momentum and gets faster the more it spins.
Exactly. The teachable source deconstructs the anatomy of a successful automated flywheel into 4 continuous stages: attract, convert, expand, and advocate. And the engine that powers the transitions between these 4 stages is sophisticated email automation.
The J. Klaus case study perfectly illustrates how these stages connect. He built an automated system that generated $15,000 in 2 months without him ever running a live, dedicated product launch.
It just hums in the background.
It's incredible.
It operates on a series of interconnected loops. Let's look at how he manages the attract and convert stages through his content loop. When a new person subscribes to his newsletter, they are dropped into an automated welcome sequence.
Right.
In one of those early emails, he asks a very specific operational question. He says, if I were to dedicate one issue of my newsletter to a struggle you are specifically facing right now, what would that be?
Which is brilliant because he is completely bypassing the guesswork of content creation. His audience is literally handing him his editorial calendar.
It goes deeper than that. Those user replies dictate his upcoming long-form newsletter topics. Because he is addressing guaranteed pain points, the open rates and engagement are incredibly high.
Wow.
He atomizes that high-performing newsletter into social posts, which attracts more subscribers, who then answer the welcome email, feeding him more targeted topics. The attract stage is essentially self-sustaining.
But the real magic is how he handles the expand stage, how he automates the actual selling of the mid-ticket items without sounding like a used car salesman.
Yes, he accomplishes that through behavioral tagging within his email software kit.
How does that work?
Well, later in that same automated welcome sequence, he asks subscribers to click a link to a short survey to customize their experience. When they click a specific answer detailing their primary business hurdle, the software silently applies a behavioral tag to their profile in the database.
So the system categorically knows exactly what their biggest friction point is, without Jay having to manually read their profile.
Precisely. And that tag acts as a tripwire. It automatically triggers a customized hidden email sequence that specifically pitches one of his 4 niche courses.
That's so smart.
The subscriber receives an email that speaks directly to their tagged pain point, directing them to a sales page loaded with testimonials from people who had that exact same problem. They feel like the sequence was written personally for them.
And the teachable framework mentions that final stage advocate. How do you practically execute advocacy on autopilot? Because you can't really force people to market for you.
You automate the ask. The moment a user completes the course, the software triggers a final email asking for a specific testimonial and offering them an affiliate link.
Oh, I see.
Their success story is instantly piped back onto the sales page to boost the conversion rate for the next tagged subscriber.
The entire value ladder is running on autopilot. But to truly scale an automated business, you need a massive volume of people entering the top of that funnel. You need to feed the attract stage.
Right, you need leads.
And historically, acquiring thousands of new email subscribers meant spending a fortune on Facebook or Google advertising, which immediately eats into your profit margins.
This raises an important question. How do you achieve exponential audience growth without destroying your cash flow?
Right.
The sources reveal a mechanism called the paid recommendations loop, and it fundamentally changes the economics of audience acquisition.
I saw the breakdown of this in the research, and the math is incredible. We're talking about co-registration widgets using tools like SparkLoop or the Kit Creator Network.
The mechanics are remarkably elegant. The very second someone types their email address into your site to join your free newsletter, a widget intercepts them before they even navigate away from the page.
Okay.
It pops up and says, since you like this topic, here are 3 to 5 other specific newsletters we highly recommend.
So you're cross-promoting other creators in your niche right at the point of entry.
Yes, but it is a monetized cross-promotion.
Yeah.
For every new subscriber of yours who clicks yes and opts into those recommended partner newsletters, the partner creator pays you a direct referral fee.
Really?
Yeah. The data shows that on average, a creator earns between 50 cents and $1 in passive revenue for every single person who joins their own email list.
Let me make sure that is perfectly clear. You are literally getting paid $1 when someone signs up for your free newsletter. You are monetizing the exact moment of acquisition before you ever pitch them a product.
And the flywheel strategy dictates that you do not keep that dollar as profit. You take that passive recommendation revenue and immediately reinvest it into paid advertising to drive more traffic to your sign-up page.
Oh, wow.
Because the revenue from the co-registration widget offsets the cost of the advertising clicks, you achieve a net zero acquisition cost. You are running ads, growing your own email list, and expanding your potential customer base indefinitely, and the entire marketing budget is funding itself.
That is the ultimate flywheel spinning at maximum velocity. It completely decouples your audience growth from your personal bank account.
It's an incredible system.
Okay, let's take a breath and zoom out. For you listening right now, think about the architectural journey we just mapped out. We started with the sheer exhaustion of the modern content hamster wheel, the pressure to cook a new 9.5-course meal every single day for an algorithm that forgets you in an hour.
Yeah, a brutal cycle.
We completely dismantled that model. We looked at how to reclaim your time by creating one solid pillar of knowledge, atomizing it to manipulate the algorithms, and funneling that attention away from rented platforms to an asset you actually own.
And then we examine the psychology of packaging the solutions you already use into highly specific, low-friction, micro-digital products over a single weekend.
Exactly. We stack those products onto a value ladder, ensuring every transaction systematically eliminates the friction for the next higher-priced offer. And finally, we connected the dots with automated software to build a self-reinforcing flywheel that generates its own content ideas, customizes its own sales pitches, and mathematically funds its own growth.
It represents a profound shift in professional identity. You stop operating as a daily content creator and start operating as a digital business architect. You are building structural assets that function and generate revenue completely independent of your daily labor.
We want to leave you with one final thought to mull over. Think about the daily friction of the work you do right now. Think about the internal checklists you've refined, the complex spreadsheets you've built to save yourself time, or the standard operating procedures you use at your day job, or even in your deepest hobbies.
What if your most valuable financial asset isn't some brand new revolutionary concept that you need to spend months brainstorming from scratch?
What if your most valuable asset is simply the digital exhaust of the work you are already successfully doing, and you just haven't hit export as PDF yet? Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Take that first step this weekend. Go look at your leftovers, and we'll see you next time.